Highway of Shadows Part 1. It was a dark and stormy night, the kind you see in horror movies. The rain pounded on the roof of my car as I sat stranded on the deserted highway, the only sound the occasional distant rumble of thunder. My engine had sputtered to a stop, leaving me alone in the darkness. I fumbled for my phone, praying for a signal. But as luck would have it, I was in a dead zone with no bars to spare. Panic set in as I realized the direness of my situation. With no other option, I decided to try and flag down passing cars for help. As I stood on the desolate highway, the rain-soaked wind whistling through the trees, I saw headlights approaching in the distance. Relief washed over me as a beat-up truck pulled over. The driver, a tall and lanky man, stepped out into the eerie glow of his vehicle's dim headlights. He wore a tattered trench coat that clung to his frame, and a wide-brimmed hat cast a shadow over his face, obscuring it in darkness. Despite his attempt to seem helpful, an unsettling feeling crept over me. "Need a hand, miss?" he asked, his voice a low murmur that sent shivers down my spine. Grateful for the assistance, I hesitated but eventually nodded. He popped the hood and pretended to inspect the engine, muttering to himself incoherently. His movements were slow and deliberate, adding to the eerie atmosphere. The rain continued to pour, each droplet sounding like a distant whisper. As he claimed to diagnose the issue, I noticed his hands were stained with something dark and sticky. My heart raced as I considered the possibilities, my imagination conjuring horrifying scenarios. I took a step back, my instincts screaming at me to flee. Just as I was about to make a run for it, he turned to me, his hat still casting a shadow over his face. "You're in luck, miss. I can give you a ride to the nearest town. My truck's just over there." I hesitated, the feeling of dread intensifying. Something about the situation didn't sit right. But with no other options, I cautiously followed him towards the truck, the raindrops drumming a sinister rhythm on the pavement. As we approached the rusty vehicle, a sudden gust of wind blew his hat off, revealing his face. The dim light illuminated a twisted grin that sent chills down my spine. His eyes gleamed with malice, and I knew I had walked right into the clutches of a nightmare. In that moment, survival instincts kicked in, and I bolted into the darkness, the rain soaking me to the bone. I didn't look back, but the sound of his laughter echoed through the night. I ran until I found a gas station, breathless and terrified, vowing never to trust a stranger on a desolate highway again. Thanks for watching.